My name is Eleanor, and I never expected my life to twist and turn the way it did, to fall in love with a man only to later fall deeper with the one person I should never have. It all started on a warm October evening. I was 22, fresh out of college, and working my first real job at a design agency in the city. That night, I had no intention of going to the party. I was tired, my shoes hurt, and I barely knew the host. But my friend Lily dragged me out anyway, claiming I needed to live a little. That's when I met Aaron. He was the kind of man you notice instantly. Tall, confident, with dark, careless hair, and a smirk that told you he knew exactly how good he looked. He offered me a drink, asked me about my favorite movie, and before I knew it, we were laughing like we'd known each other forever. It felt easy, effortless. He was magnetic, drawing people in with every glance and joke. We started dating a week later. At first, it was like stepping into a romantic movie, late-night texts that made my heart race, weekend road trips, his hand always finding mine. Aaron wasn't just charming, he was intense. He liked things fast and passionate. Within 3 months, he'd introduced me to his parents. That's the night I met Liam. Aaron's family home was just outside the city, a cozy, ivy-covered house with warm lighting and the smell of something always baking. His mother hugged me with a quiet warmth, and his father shook my hand like he was measuring me up. Then came Liam. He was Aaron's younger brother, just 20, still in college and quieter than the rest of the family. Where Aaron was all bold edges and swagger, Liam was soft-spoken, observant. He had kind eyes, green flecked with gold, and a quiet way of looking at you that made you feel like you mattered, even if you hadn't said much. "Nice to meet you," he said, offering his hand. His grip was gentle but steady. "You too," I smiled. That evening, Aaron told stories loudly at the dinner table, dominating every conversation. But I noticed Liam watching me when I laughed, not in a creepy way, just present, noticing things. He asked if I wanted more mashed potatoes, if I needed a warmer seat, if the dog scared me. Small things, but they stayed with me. Aaron didn't seem to notice. He never did. The months passed quickly. Our relationship got more serious. I started staying over at Aaron's place often, even leaving a drawer of clothes there. His friends became my friends. His world became mine. But it wasn't all perfect. Aaron could be harsh, not in a physically abusive way, but emotionally careless. He made jokes at my expense in front of others. He'd criticize my clothes, my work, or my friends when we were alone. It wasn't constant, but it chipped away at me. "You're too sensitive," he'd say if I got upset. Sometimes he wouldn't reply to texts for hours. When I confronted him,
A little fire, that maybe I just wasn't trying hard enough. It wasn't all bad. He had his good days, surprising me with flowers, planning spontaneous dinners, telling me I looked beautiful. And those moments made me stay. For a while. But every now and then, we'd visit his family, and Liam would be there. Always gentle, always quiet. He remembered my favorite tea. He asked about my design projects when Aaron never seemed to listen. He laughed at my jokes. Not the loud, exaggerated kind of laugh his brother gave, but something soft and real. Once, during a family game night, I dropped a glass, and everyone stared. I bent to pick up the pieces quickly, flustered. Aaron rolled his eyes. "Seriously, Elena? Again?" But Liam knelt beside me silently, helping pick up the shards. His fingers brushed mine just briefly. He didn't say a word. But he looked at me, and I knew he saw everything. That moment stuck with me more than I wanted to admit. I started to notice the way Liam looked at me when Aaron wasn't watching, and I hated myself for noticing. I was with his brother. This wasn't some novel or movie. It was real life, and real life had rules. Still, there was a pull. Not dramatic, not obvious, just quiet gravity. Like I was a planet slowly drawn into orbit around a star I hadn't seen at first. Liam never crossed a line. Not once. But I knew. Deep down, I knew. And worse, A small, hidden part of me wanted him to. It was a rainy evening in February when I first realized something in my relationship with Aaron had truly changed. We had just come back from a weekend trip to a coastal town. On the surface, it should have been romantic. A little cabin, waves crashing outside, just the two of us. But the silence between us on the drive home was louder than any ocean. Aaron had spent the entire trip on his phone, texting, scrolling, laughing at something he never bothered to show me. I tried talking to him about a project I was excited about, a children's book design gig that meant a lot to me. He nodded absent-mindedly, didn't ask a single question, then turned the radio up. That was the first time I truly felt lonely sitting next to someone. I kept telling myself it was stress, that Aaron was going through something, that if I just gave him time or space, he'd come back to me. The version of him I fell for. But things only got colder. He stopped calling during lunch breaks. He stopped kissing my forehead in the mornings. The little things disappeared, one by one, until I started questioning if I was the only one trying. Then came the night of his birthday dinner. He wanted to celebrate at a rooftop bar in the city, the kind of place with glittering lights, expensive drinks, and music so loud you couldn't hear your own thoughts. I wore a red dress he once told me he loved, curled my hair, and showed up early with a gift I'd spent weeks preparing, a custom painting of his childhood home, framed
It in front of everyone and laughed. "Thanks," he said. "That's cute." Just that. No hug, no real smile, no acknowledgement of what it meant. I swallowed my hurt and smiled. But Liam saw it. He was there too, standing a little off to the side, in a navy button-down that brought out the green in his eyes. He didn't say anything, just watched me with quiet concern as Aaron went on to open bottles of champagne and take shots with his friends. Later that night, as people danced and the party swelled, I found a quiet corner to breathe. And Liam found me. "Hey," he said gently. "You okay?" I nodded too quickly. "You don't have to lie," he added softly. That was the first time I felt seen in weeks, maybe months. We stood in silence for a while, watching the lights move across the city skyline. "I liked your gift," Liam said after a minute. "It was beautiful." "Thanks," I whispered, my throat tightened. "I spent so much time on it." "I know," he said. "I saw." He always saw. After that night, things spiraled fast. Aaron became colder. He'd cancel plans last minute, show up late without a reason, and started saying things like, "You're too emotional," or "Not everything's about you." Once, when I cried, after he ignored me for a whole day, he snapped, "Jesus, Elena, you're exhausting." I went home that night and cried in the shower, the water drowning the sound of my sobs, but Liam kept showing up, quietly, without intrusion. He'd text me sometimes, just small things. "Hope your meeting went well. That tea you like is on sale at Jensen's. Take care of yourself today." He never asked to meet, never made it inappropriate, but those little messages became the thread holding me together. One Saturday in March, Aaron invited me to his parents' house again. I hesitated. Things between us were so strained, I wasn't sure I could smile through it. But I went anyway, for appearances, for some fragile hope. Dinner was quiet. Aaron barely spoke to me. His mother asked if I was okay. I lied. His father talked about politics. Liam sat across the table, stealing glances when he thought no one noticed. After dessert, Aaron left to take a call. I stood in the kitchen, rinsing plates, trying not to cry. Liam stepped beside me and said quietly, "You don't deserve this." I froze. My hands were still wet, the sponge slipping from my fingers. "I'm sorry," he added quickly. "I shouldn't have said that." But I turned to him. "No, you're right." He looked at me then, really looked, and there was something in his eyes that made my heart ache. It wasn't desire, it wasn't even sadness, It was longing, deep, patient, buried longing. And in that moment, I knew. I knew Liam loved me. That night, I lay awake in Aaron's bed, listening to his soft snores beside me, and I felt nothing, not anger, not sadness, just numbness, like the part of me that used to hope was already gone. And I kept seeing Liam's eyes. A week later it happened. Aaron and I got into a terrible fight. He accused me of being distant, of being too sensitive, too demanding. I finally snapped. "You don't even see me anymore," I shouted. "You don't ask how I am, you don't care what I do. You just take and— "Oh, please, Eleanor," he scoffed. "You're lucky I'm still here. I could do better." It was like a punch in the chest. I grabbed my coat, slammed the door, and drove straight to nowhere. I parked in front of a closed flower shop and cried for an hour. I didn't call anyone. But somehow, Liam found me. It was raining again, soft and steady. I was sitting in my car, headlights off, windows fogged, and suddenly there was a knock on my window. I jumped, and then I saw him. Liam, soaked through, holding an umbrella and a paper cup of tea. He didn't say a word, just opened the door and got in beside me. "I called you," he said. "You didn't answer. I had a feeling." He handed me the tea. It was still warm. I didn't ask how he found me. I didn't speak at all. I just held the cup and cried quietly. He didn't touch me, didn't try to fix anything. He just sat beside me, a silent witness to my pain. That was the night I left Aaron for good, and that was the night something broke open inside me. Something that felt like the beginning of everything. Real. After I left Aaron, everything felt quiet. Not peaceful. Not yet. But hollow. Like I'd stepped out of a storm only to find myself standing in fog. My phone stayed silent for days. No calls from Aaron, no apologies, no chase. He let me go like I was never really his. But Liam didn't. He texted the next morning. "You don't have to talk, just know I'm here." I stared at that message for a long time. Then I typed back, "Thank you. I needed that." That was the beginning of something unspoken, a quiet thread tying our hearts together, though neither of us dared name it. We didn't talk every day, and when we did it was simple. Books we were reading, music we liked, updates on his classes or my projects, but in every word I felt safety, I felt gentleness, I felt him. Once, he sent a photo of a park bench surrounded by yellow leaves and wrote, "Thought this looked like something you'd paint." And it did. I painted it the same evening, tears in my eyes the whole time. Weeks passed. I moved into it once. I was in the poetry section. He was looking for a gift for his mother.
Emily Dickinson?
He said, eyeing the book in my hand.
She understands sorrow better than anyone.
I replied. He nodded.
You seem better.
I'm getting there. He smiled then, slow, thoughtful, and my heart stuttered.
I missed your laugh.
He said, and I realized. So had I. We started meeting in person again. At first, just at places where we could be unnoticed. A quiet coffee shop near my building, the library courtyard, early morning walks by the river. There was never any touching, no confessions, no declarations of love. But the air between us was charged with something real. One afternoon, we sat beneath an old oak tree at the edge of the park. The leaves were just beginning to turn. "Do you ever feel guilty?" I asked him suddenly. He looked at me carefully.
All the time.
Me too. Silence settled between us, soft and bittersweet. "I never wanted this to happen," I whispered. "But I don't regret knowing you." He closed his eyes for a moment, as if absorbing the weight of my words.
Elena,
He said quietly.
I've loved you from the shadows. I never thought I'd be allowed to feel it out loud.
His voice cracked at the edges, full of something tender and aching. "I don't want to hide any more," I said. His eyes met mine, steady and certain.
Then we won't.
We agreed to wait a little longer before seeing each other publicly, not out of shame, but respect. The wounds were still fresh. Aaron hadn't spoken to either of us, but we knew when he did, it wouldn't be kind. And we were right. The first time Aaron found out, he showed up at my apartment unannounced. I opened the door and saw him, eyes wild, jaw clenched.
So it's true.
He said. I didn't deny it.
He laughed bitterly. You couldn't find anyone else. You had to go for him.
Aaron.
You were probably sleeping with him while we were together, huh? That's what this was.
I flinched. It wasn't like that.
No? You think I'm going to believe you fell for him after you left me? Please.
I stayed silent.
Guess you really did upgrade.
He spat and stormed off. I closed the door with shaking hands. That night, Liam showed up with flowers and his arms open. He didn't say anything, just pulled me in and let me cry. I'm sorry, I whispered.
You have nothing to apologize for.
But he's your brother, he paused.
He was never really there for either of us.
That night, he stayed, on the couch, holding my hand, and in the morning, he made pancakes and coffee, and we laughed for the first time in days. Liam and I weren't perfect. We argued sometimes, about going public, about what people would say, about the strange guilt that still lingered in quiet corners of our hearts. But we always came back to one truth. We chose each other, not out of revenge, not out of desperation, but because love had grown, slow, careful, tender, from the ruins. A few months later, I met his parents again. His mother opened the door and saw me standing there, her son beside me. She didn't say anything at first, just looked between us, her expression unreadable. I'm sorry, I said, for the pain this may have caused, but I love him and he loves me. We didn't plan it, but we're not hiding. Her eyes softened, just a little, and she nodded. It'll take time, she said. I know. She stepped aside to let us in. Liam kissed me for the first time, under the same oak tree where we used to talk. It was soft and slow, his hand trembling slightly on my cheek. I've waited a long time for this, he murmured. So have I whispered. That kiss tasted like home. Word got out. Aaron found out. He showed up at my apartment furious. You think you can replace me with my brother? That's sick, Eleanor. You're pathetic and you— He turned to Liam, who stood behind me, calm but firm. You're a damn traitor. I didn't betray you, Liam said quietly. You threw her away. I just picked up the pieces. There were tears, shouting, silence. Aaron left, slamming the door. It Liam tamad. A year later, he took me back to the oak tree. He knelt down holding a simple silver ring. Not because of what we lost, but because of what we built. Marry me. I said yes, through tears. Now, I tell people we met through heartache, but we stayed because we found something stronger than pain. A love born not of drama, but of quiet choices, gentle words, and staying when it was hard.